I'd like to ask Joshua Hobbs with Church of the Heights to come forward and offer invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Rawls. Please stand if you can.
Let us pray. Father, we love you and we thank you for every opportunity that we can come and serve your people. Lord, I pray for wisdom today for this committee, for this meeting. Lord, give us the wisdom needed to lead and guide through all the difficult circumstances, all the wonderful opportunities, all the things that have been presented before us. Let us reside in peace and harmony as we go to do your work. Lord, I pray a blessing over these men and women. Lord, I pray that you bless their health, you bless their finances, their family, their relationships, as they are shepherds leading your people to a pasture of peace and joy. Father, I pray for your anointing over this time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Will you join me in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Hobbs, and thank you, Commissioner Rawls. The chair will entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes listed on the agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussions or additions or deletions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. I'll now recess the Board of County Commission meeting and, okay, I'm gonna have to wait 2 minutes because it's time certain at 9:05, so we'll reconvene the Board of County Commissioners meeting, and I'm gonna ask Commissioner Harvey if he will make some short remarks on the census.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate the opportunity. For those of you in the audience, Putnam County is now underway for our Census Count Committee, and we have some posters and flyers on the table in the foyer. So if you would, as you leave here today, take some of those back to your respective locations, pass them out in your churches, your civic centers, wherever you have people that gather. There's some in Spanish that was provided to us by the Census Bureau. So please make yourself available of all those things out there, because we want to be counted once and counted correctly. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'm waiting on 9:05 time certain. I think we're close enough. We'll just wait a minute.
We could talk about how nice it is to see everybody here this morning. Good morning. That wasted 30 seconds.
A lot of ladies out there.
Yeah, can I bring up that the ladies were also out during the Azalea Festival, and they looked very nice marching around. And was those period dated clothes? Yes, it was excellent.
Okay, thank you. We have a 9:05 meeting, so I'll recess the Board of County Commissioners meeting and convene the Port Authority meeting. Is there any public comment on Port Authority items at this time? Seeing none, is there any comment from the Commission on Port Authority items at this time? Seeing none, we will adjourn the Port meeting and reconvene the Board of County Commissioners meeting. And we'll move into presentations. Our first presentation is going to be read by Commissioner Harvey, and it's the General Federation of Women's Clubs of America's centennial celebration of the right of American women to vote in the National Elections Proclamation. If all you ladies would like to meet me at the podium that came up here today, I'll meet you there and let Commissioner Harvey read the resolution.
All the women who supported that, some of them don't have banners, but we still want them with us.
That's right.
Sure. Right there.
Mr. Chairman, Putnam County Proclamation number 2020, Centennial Celebration of the Right of American women to vote in national elections. Whereas the right to vote is fundamental to the strength of the American democracy, and the expansion of the franchise has made government more reflective of and responsive to the American people. Increased political participation leads to greater accountability and improved outcomes. And whereas the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, granting women the right to vote in national elections, was a milestone in women's political and economic empowerment, and assured women could more fully participate in our democracy and fundamentally changing the role of women in civic life suffrage movement. And whereas the fight for women's suffrage lasted more than 72 years, with women from all walks of life, political views, and demographic backgrounds asking for the right to voice their opinions at the polls. And whereas women by the thousands advocated for the right to vote, and suffrage pushed for a single constitutional amendment granting female suffrage on the federal level, dubbed the Susan B. Anthony Amendment. And whereas it was sons, husbands, and fathers who ultimately heard the calls of women and joined their voices when the House of Representatives took a historic vote on May 21st, 1919, followed by the Senate on June 4th, 1919, and 3/4 of the states needed to ratify the 19th Amendment. And whereas the centennial anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment is to be celebrated, now therefore be it resolved, Putnam County commemorates the 100th anniversary of the passage and ratification of the 19th Amendment, providing for women's suffrage to the United States Constitution, reaffirms that the opportunity for people in the United States to learn about and commemorate the efforts of the women's suffrage movement and the role of women in our democracy, and reaffirms the desire of Putnam County citizens to continue strengthening democratic participation and to inspire future generations to cherish and preserve the historical precedent established under the 19th Amendment. Therefore, be it proclaimed, Putnam County celebrates and courageously visions championed by women and men of past generations, and recognizes the positive impact and the health of our communities, and proclaims the year 2020 the centennial celebration of the right of American women to vote in national elections. Mr. Chairman, I move approval of this proclamation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you.
We need all women up here.
Coronavirus fear is here, is there?
We're all fine, Mayor Garcia said. It's me, it's my turn. Congratulations. I wouldn't know who to vote for when my wife died. Right.
I think it was Commissioner Harvey a couple of years ago that made the comment that this is the best part of our day, and he's not kidding. It is. We'll move on to the next item, which is the Rotary Club of Palatka, Florida, wishes to make a presentation.
Mr. Chairman, maybe we can comment real quick?
Sure.
I'd like to say that for all the women listening, I joined Rotary about 6 or 7 years ago, and I was really shocked to find out that women were not allowed in the club until 1989. And I think Linda Myers was one of the founding members of our club, and I guess one of the first women in. But if you take a look at our club, and even my church, the real horsepower behind the organization is the women in the club. So congratulations, and thank you for what you do.
Okay. We're gonna have a presentation by the Rotary Club. Is that gonna be you, Benji, or? Okay, if y'all come forward.
Bring the check.
I think Mr. Suggs part of that. Mr. Suggs, you part of that?
There it is.
There it is.
It's gonna be hard to get that in that little round tube with the right drive-up teller.
I wonder how Paul Harris signed that one.
Yeah.
Big pen.
And I will recognize you're speaking of, we recognize Shan as our first woman of the Rotary Club of Palatka. And she was also the first district governor.
Wow.
So good morning. It's awesome to be here. We thank you for your cooperation. Our club some 20 years ago worked to install the first project play. And as we've seen over time, that was used greatly by the community, and it was time for something new. And with the 100th anniversary of our club, we thought no better project than to go back and reinvest in project play. So on behalf of the Rotary Club of Palatka, we're excited to present the $100,000 that helped fund a large portion of that. We thank you for your contributions. And also want to invite everybody, May 2nd, we're having our 100th anniversary dinner. So again, we're trying to raise additional money there. So we invite everyone. We're selling tables. We hope they sell fast. Diane Taylor will send out additional information, but May 2nd is our 100th anniversary dinner. And again, today the Rotary Club of Palatka, celebrating its 100th year, presents $100,000 to the Putnam County.
Mr. Danny, good morning, sir.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
My grandfather rode to work. My grandfather and Danny rode to work together. Yeah, at the mill, yeah. Y'all need a platform out there to stand? I don't have a good side. It's just what it is and what it is. Well, thank you. Thank you again. Yes, thank you very much. Art?
Yes, sir. Thank you. This, when you said,
Gotta give it to me, clerk of the court.
this is the invites.
Thank you.
Are we gonna do it at the playground? I think there should be like an adult play day.
Here.
Just do that.
I mean, I'm down for it.
Yeah, May, we can wear swimsuits, play in the splash
Is
pad.
this the real one? Yeah,
And adult playtime at the school?
Yeah, there should be an adult play day at the splash pad. Those of you who do not know, this money went to not only revitalizing the playground, but also installing a new splash pad that's going to be opening up soon. And we really think that it's going to be a driver to bring families into Putnam County, because families will travel around to use splash pads, and we're going to have a really neat concept by having the splash pad on the playground. It gives families something to do. There's a couple of pavilions there, and hopefully some more pavilions will pop up soon. That's one thing I'm going to be personally working on with our Rotary group, is getting a pavilion or two installed. So really looking forward to this.
Thank you, Commissioner. Our next item on the list is I'm going to pull item H off the consent agenda at the request of Commissioner, and ask Commissioner Pickens if he will read this resolution.
Okay, thank you, Chairman Turner. If I could ask Ms. Angel Dukes, Mr. Gerald Watson, and whomever is with you, Ms. Cynthia Asia, if you want to come up. Is Mr. Newbold here this morning? Anybody else you want? Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to pull this agenda item and hopefully do this properly. Angel Dukes approached me some 7 or 8 months ago about a native Putnam County person, a Crescent City gentleman, A. Philip Randolph, and wanted to know if we could do something special in honor, in memory of his life and legacy. So she came up with the idea to do a name change of a road in Putnam County and in Crescent City. And after some discussion, we decided to do a memorial for him on the road, and that's what this is about this morning. So I want to thank Angel for her persistence in pushing me to push the commission to look into this and approve this. A. Philip Randolph was born on April 15, 1889 in Crescent City. He was one of the most respected leaders of the American Civil Rights Movement in the 20th century. Randolph was a labor activist, editor of the political journal The Messenger, organizer of the 1941 March on Washington, which resulted in the establishment of the Fair Employment Practices Committee, and the architect of the 1963 March on Washington for the Jobs and Freedom. So I'd like to read the resolution that we hope to adopt this morning. Resolution 2020, a resolution of the Board of Putnam County Commissioners of Putnam County, Florida, declaring an honorary designation of a county road, Old Highway 17, as the A. Philip Randolph Memorial Highway, providing direction to staff and providing for an immediate effective date. Whereas the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners and the residents of Putnam County desire to honor the memory of A. Philip Randolph, who dedicated his life and work to the cause of ending discrimination and injustice in workplace and communities across the country. And whereas the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners would like to recognize A. Philip Randolph's contribution to the civil rights movement and his impact to our community and our country. And whereas pursuant to the authority of the Section 336.05 Florida statutes, Putnam County wishes to commemorate and declare an honorary designation of County Road Old Highway 17 as the A. Philip Randolph Memorial Highway as a perpetual symbol of our appreciation and admiration and respect. And now therefore be it resolved by the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners, the Board of County Commissioners in Putnam County hereby adopts the above recitals, incorporates them herein, and a part of the resolution naming County Road Old Highway 17 in Putnam County, Florida, shall be honored, remembered, and memorialized by placing suitable markers designating County Road Old Highway 17 as the A. Philip Randolph Memorial Highway. The markers shall be placed at County Road Old Highway 17 near the intersection of Junction Road and South Highway 17. The resolution is made in reference to the County Road Old Highway 17, Junction Road, and South Highway 17. Putnam County's administrative staff is directed to erect honorary markers as described in Section 2. Further, staff is directed to provide a copy of this resolution to the Secretary of the Department of Transportation, the United States Postal Service, Putnam County's E-911 Coordinator, and the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. This resolution shall become effective upon the adoption of the Board of County Commissioners in Putnam County, Florida, duly passed and adopted with a quorum present and voting by the Board of the County Commissioners of Putnam County, Florida in a regular session this 10th day of March 2020 by the Board of County Commissioners of Putnam County. Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that we approve this resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously.
I'd like for Angel to say a few words, because she has definitely been the person behind this, and her passion to make sure that A. Philip Randolph is remembered and educate people on what he meant to Crescent City, to Putnam County, and to our country. And so I'd like Angel to say a few words. Thank you.
Wow, this is like winning an Oscar. First, I would like to thank you guys so very much for believing, number one, in South Putnam, and for believing in A. Philip Randolph, and assisting us to continue to move his legacy forward, because he is truly an icon. I learned of A. Philip Randolph, believe it or not, as I traveled through Paris because I had a contract with UNESCO. So when we came back home to retire in 2008, I knew I had to do something to honor this gentleman, our native son. So we had our first Juneteenth, and we gave the A. Philip Randolph Community Service Awards to women from all over Putnam County, and thus it began. In 2016, we were very instrumental to get A. Philip Randolph Day Proclamation. So we actually have an A. Philip Randolph Day. I have the A. Philip Randolph Gallery Interactive Center. We have my great group here that's always supporting what we do. Without them, I wouldn't be standing here. So moving forward, having A. Philip Randolph Memorial Highway named is going to do so much to uplift the people in South Putnam, namely Long Station, because it's very desolate. So this is the beginning of what's to come. And I just want to say thank you so very much. And we will be having a dedication ceremony, and I'd love to invite you guys. We have people from Amtrak, from A. Philip Randolph, Washington, D.C. They're all supporting this effort. So for that, thank you. And thanks to you guys. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Virginia Engler. Virginia Engler is our secretary. This is our mayor of Crescent City. I cannot understand, right? This is Mr. McKinley Evans. He's very much involved with A. Philip Randolph, supporting us, and he's with Concerned Citizens of Putnam County. And this is Cynthia Asia. What would you do without her? You can't.
Exactly.
This is Gerald Watson, of course, my husband and big supporter. This is Vera. Reeves. Vera is new with A. Philip Randolph. She believed in what we were doing, and she saw this project moving forward. So she volunteered to be a part of what we are doing. Moving forward is moving the city forward and moving the county forward. And of course, we have Mr. Jamal Batts, who's always been there as our music provider during our entertainment sessions with the various aspects of projects, and he's been a big supporter. I've been knowing him since he was 16, a little brat, but he's grown up now. And so, I'm emotional. So it is like receiving an Academy Award, and I'm going to accept it as such, okay? It's been a long journey.
Yes.
Thank you guys so very much.
Thank you, Angel.
Have a great
Commissioner
one.
Harvey.
Before you leave, I want to say a few words before you leave. Angel, it wasn't that hard of a lift when you approached Commissioner Pickens in a meeting that we all were at. Out of respect, Commissioner Pickens is probably the most gentleman service leader that I've ever dealt with and served with. So out of respect for him, it was easy to do. People look at Putnam County that I hear sometimes, and they don't realize the history we have here and how people started in Putnam County and did national things. A. Philip Randolph, Billy Graham. I mean, it's amazing what history we have here in this county. And I appreciate the efforts, because if we lose that history and we don't keep telling people about the history and why it was important, why did we just have to honor women to vote? I mean, I have nothing but daughters, and I respect their opinion. Why do we even have to go there? But we did. We've come out of that. We're moving forward. And thank God for people like Commissioner Pickens, your group, to bring these items to this board so we can maintain our history for Putnam County. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Harvey.
Can we have the mayor?
Before y'all leave, will you walk up across here and let's get a picture, please?
Mr. Suggs. Where's Jim at? The high camera guy? Yeah. We're good.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Angel. Okay, good deal. I'm going to add an item to the presentation agenda today and ask Cindy Galecki to come forward and give us a short presentation on the PIO training that she gave to the county.
Absolutely. Yeah, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, commissioners. I want to recognize and thank Chairman Turner for kind of being taking the initiative to have this done. It's very important, and I think all of you were behind it. So we had a great training last week. All the PIOs learned about Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Hootsuite, and some design programs to make it all come together and look beautiful. So raise your hand if you've tweeted anything in the past 24 hours.
How about ever?
Okay, ever. Instagram, anybody?
Cindy, we might need a training too.
Sure, absolutely. I'm happy to do that. But you can kind of see some of the statistics, behind the different social networks. Day one, we learned about Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Of course, the importance of video. Day two, we learned about Instagram, LinkedIn, and Hootsuite, which Hootsuite makes it easy to schedule all your different social networks, so you're not going on Twitter and then LinkedIn and then YouTube and doing all different things. But you've got 1 billion people on Instagram, and I'm sure a large percentage of those in the county are on these social networks. What a better free resource to use to reach residents, right? We learned why government should participate in social media, and I'm sure you're all aware, building awareness for emergency alerts, crisis communications, PSAs, calls to action. What do we want people to get involved with? And we've seen some great initiatives here this morning already, right? How do we rally the troops? If you have an email database or you're texting reminders to folks, to residents, bridging the gap between public and government, of course, and the inner workings of the government and the meetings in the town halls, and commission meetings like this. And then recruitment. It's a great way to recruit amazing people. And I do want to say that everybody that was at the PIO training, you've got an amazing team. I'm sure you already know that, but everybody was engaged and just well educated in what they do. So it was really great to work with everybody. So we talked about the keys to social media success. With anything, you should have goals, just like in life, right? Have a strategic purpose, be consistent, create engaging content, which is easy to do, again, when you have amazing, playground projects and things like that, and partnering and kind of tagging other people's pages, like the Rotary and their anniversary. And then providing excellent customer service. When someone makes a comment, you respond to them in a professional manner and in a timely manner, right? And direct them to where they need to find the answers. And we're going to work on getting all the departments' social media cleaned up. We've got, gosh, I don't know, 10, 12, maybe 15 pages out there. So we're going to brand it and make everything look consistent to our brand. We talked about a calendar. Making it easier for folks to kind of stay on track with their social media. We talked about how to effectively utilize Facebook. We talked about the importance of video. Was it the emergency services gentleman that saved the baby? Delivered the baby? I mean, the analytics on that Facebook post, and there wasn't even a photo, were insane. Was it 8,000 or something people, read the Facebook post? It was crazy. So that's, again, you're building splash pads and things like that to draw people in, but they're also seeing it before they even come, right? The last 7 days, your Facebook analytics, which is just the numbers of people that are coming to your Facebook page, the BOCC page, the post reach, just in the last 7 days, you've reached 8,256 people. That is in addition to your baby delivering emergency services post. And then your engagement is 3,556. And engagement is this, their reactions, So these are the reactions that Facebook has. So someone gave it a thumbs up, they gave it a heart, they gave it a, so these are all the emojis on Facebook that they gave your post. So really your engagement number is the most important number, because not only were they scrolling past, their down their Facebook feed, they stopped at your page and interacted. So that's very important. Your audience, just to let you know, is 71% women, 28% men, mostly in Putnam County, and these are the people that like your BOCC Facebook page. So this is, you can see your age demographic there as well. So you talk about your target audience, who you're talking to on your Facebook page. So you're on Twitter now as well, and we've been tweeting. And on Instagram, we learned a lot about hashtags. These are some of the most popular hashtags. And your amazing PIO team, I'm not sure who invented it, but what's the hashtag? Putnam, Positively Putnam. Yep, they've been, thank you from the back. They've been hashtagging Positively Putnam, Putnam, Florida, that kind of thing. So think about when someone searches those words, all of your content comes up, and people that are having a positive time in Putnam, all those images and all that information is going to come up, and that's global. That's around the world. And yes, they had homework. I didn't call it homework. I asked my 17-year-old, what's a positive word for homework? He goes, Mom, there's not one. So we talked about putting your education to use or something like that, right? So everybody wrote down their department's purpose for utilizing social media. And they generated a weekly content calendar, which was amazing. Some of the ideas they came up with. They created Facebook posts, hashtags, and 3 video ideas. And that was it, but I just wanted to thank everybody for that initiative. Does anybody have any questions about Instagram or Twitter?
Harvey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If we would have had a picture of the baby being delivered, would that have been a better
Oh, 10
scenario?
million views, absolutely,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, all right.
That's awkward though, right?
No,
Yeah.
You know what I like about it is the fact that we're engaging and putting out the positive message that's really going on, and people are responding. And it's also, Facebook is really quick to dive into negative. You can go there very fast. If you're not careful yourself, you'll go into the negative part. But when we can put out the correct information, get the positive responses, even if it's negative, we can work on those. But let's get the correct information out. And I appreciate all the PIOs, what they're doing right now, getting that out. And I've been encouraged to take pictures of things that we're doing. They put census stuff on there yesterday, so it's just a blessing to have that. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for those.
Mr. Rawls?
So when you put the analytics up, it shows the largest, and it was covered up, so it was obscured by the percentage, but it looked like it was people in 30s age group is the largest consumer.
Yes, I think that's correct, right?
If you look at Twitter, Instagram, and that, is that a higher number? Because what I've been told is basically Facebook is for older people, and Instagram and Twitter is being utilized more by the younger generation. So is there a way are they linked together where if you post on one, it just flips to the other?
Yes, absolutely. You can link, and we learned about that in our training as well, that I don't always recommend linking because your audience is different. You're right. Instagram is a little bit younger, and Twitter is government, sports team, celebrities, news, that kind of thing, right? So I think that's all ages there, and maybe a little bit older. I know my kids don't use Twitter; they're on Snapchat, but I wouldn't recommend Snapchat for you because that's
Right.
not your audience, 13 to whatever, yet. So yeah. And I love what Commissioner Harvey said about it's almost transparency, right? So someone does post something, and they could be negative. That's their right. But guess what? If you can get them on your side by solving their issue, they are your biggest fan. You have turned them around. So
Right.
always, negative or positive, you comment back and direct them to where they, can find the answer.
Mr. Chairman, I cannot resist. You're exactly right. the last couple of weeks, I've seen, I don't respond on Facebook because, like, again, then you start the war, and that just isn't good. But I've called a couple of people and said, look, I've seen your post, and I think you really don't understand, so let's sit down. And I've had 2 meetings in the last 2 weeks with people who I didn't know we could do it like that. And one was, this is your committee. You can be on that committee and make a difference. Well, I didn't know that. Well, please join us on that. So.
I love
And
that.
yesterday, I mean, we had one that was really concerned and brought her in, and her and her husband sat down, went through the process, and they left shaking hands and looking forward to the future of what they can do with their property and their land. So, yeah,
Right.
it's a good thing.
Absolutely. And you have fans already, fans of the commission, fans of whatever. I think I saw, was it yesterday or the day before, a post, someone talking about the sheriff's office in a negative way, right? Well, wait for it, because there's spouses and people that work at the sheriff's office that see that and can comment back, and then they come to your defense as well. My spouse works there, and it's an awesome place to be, to work or whatever. So yeah, just you wait for, your fans to kind of come and back you up. It's much better when someone else says positive things about you than you get up there and say awesome stuff about yourself, right?
What I tell people, make sure you know where that delete button is, because you might write it out, but you're going to delete most of it back out before you hit
Right.
post.
It's therapeutic to type it in and not send,
No,
right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Pickens?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Turner. I just want to comment on Commissioner Harvey. I believe this is a great idea, and I appreciate Commissioner Turner bringing this to us, and for the commission to support it and staff. And the main thing is to get the correct information out and positive information. There's a lot of good things going on in Putnam County. I was able to speak to the Crescent City Rotary Club 2 weeks ago, and Jim Triana came down and took a few pictures, and the club was actually surprised at all the positive projects that are going on in Putnam County, from the project play to the road construction to a lot of different things. So I just think this is going to be a win-win, and also to be able to coordinate with the sheriff's office, PIO, the school board, the college.
Parks and Rec,
Parks and Rec,
library.
exactly. I just think it's going to be a win-win. So it's something that we've needed for a long time. So,
Excellent.
and thank you.
Well, good.
Mr. Rawls?
You didn't mention our website, or you kind of glazed over it. So will there be any changes coming to our website?
So we talked a little bit about the website. One of the changes is we're going to link. Right now, you've got a Facebook and a YouTube logo at the top, so we're going to add Twitter and Instagram up there as well,
Right.
so people can go from the website to your social, from social to your website as well. But I think all the information on the website is amazing, and all that can be shared on your social media, which is great. So if it's rare that someone goes, I'm going to go to the Putnam BOCC website and see what's happening, right? They're normally on their phone, they're scrolling through their timeline on their social media, and someone has shared something or said something, right? Or is interested or going to an event, So when you do the BOCC, meetings, you create an event for it, and people can, click going or interested, and then their friends can see that as well. So I don't know if that was a...
What about search engine optimization to get us at the top?
Yeah, so, well, it depends on what your search words are, right? Best place in America to live, might be a little competitive. But think about what words that people may Google to find you,
Right.
and then we start using those words on the website in social media. Because Google loves, keywords, and when you search for a keyword, they serve up popular websites.
Mhm.
Not much more popular
Is
than
this something
Facebook.
that y'all are working on right now, or that will be worked on in the future?
Yeah, we haven't chatted about it, but absolutely we can.
Okay, and then the last question is, you mentioned the calendar. So we have a county calendar on our website. Those are going to be linked together, or will the Facebook and social media calendar be separate from our other calendar?
So it'll be on separate websites, obviously, facebook.com and then your website.
Because I have my calendar linked to the county website. Will they be linked via the other one as well, or will I have to look at two different calendars?
It'll be the same information. So if you're looking at one calendar, you should be good,
Okay.
not miss a meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Rawls. And Cindy, I'd just like to echo everybody in thanking you for coming in and giving us this PIO training. I also echo the other county commissioners in saying that this is probably one of the most necessary things that's needed to go on around here in many years. And so I'm glad to see it off the ground. I'd also like to thank the staff that volunteered to be our PIO officers in the interim. And thank you very much for coming today.
It's my pleasure. Have a great day. Thank you.
There's the children.
These two were on my desk. This one here, I think was way back when it went out. Okay, I'm going to, before I go into public comment, I noticed that Mr. Newbold came in a little late and missed our presentation. If the commissioners would indulge me, I'd like for him to come up and please come up with him if you would. And he's probably got a few words to speak to us today concerning the dedication of the road. And also, I'd like to get a picture if the commission will indulge me.
He's here on behalf of A. Philip Randolph. He's one of our biggest supporters, and he's also with Rotary of Crescent City.
Okay, I appreciate the recognizing me. I apologize for being late. I want to bring you up to date on another issue that relates to J. Philip Randolph, and I do thank you for the designation you made for the Old 17, and the city has been working on a grant to restore the church where J. Philip Randolph's father was. And recently I was in Savannah, and I went to the Savannah School of Design, and they have agreed to do the interior of the church once we get the grants in place. And so that's a positive thing. And this can be on the trail of people who are historically interested in what happens in our state. So it's another area where we might bring people to Crescent City and to Florida. So, and I thank you again for your help in this effort.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let us
picture?
get a picture, John. John, can we get a picture with you and the commissioners? And you.
Gonna be on one of them. Angel, you might want to notify the folks at the American Beach Museum of what y'all are doing, especially with that museum. The folks at the American Beach Museum up in Fernandina or Island. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay,
You might want to let them know what you're doing with this museum. They can help market that for you. You're welcome.
okay. We're going to move into public comment, and before I do, I'd like to thank the commission for indulging me on that. Public comment, this portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation about matters on which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit to 3 minutes. Public comment cards are conveniently placed at the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk who sits on my left, your right, of the podium. First speaker is Nancy Grace. That's you, Nancy.
Nicole. Should be Nicole. Nicole.
Nicole, I'm sorry.
Nancy Grace,
Yeah.
you've been promoted.
Come on, Nancy.
Yep.
If that's the worst mistake I make today, I'll be doing good.
Yeah.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to come up and remind everyone of our cleanup that's countywide on Saturday. So most locations are starting at 8 o'clock, although if you are running a little late, that's okay. We will still take you, and I have some locations that are starting at 9 and 10. So depending on where you are, Crescent City is starting at 8, Interlochen is starting at 8. The Women's Club of Palatka is actually starting at 10. And I think we've been cleaning up quite a bit, so we have a little bit less to do. But anywhere you want to go out in the county, we have locations set up. In Interlochen, it's at 3:15 and 20 is the location to get supplies in the morning, and also to bring the bags back. Down in Crescent City, it's at Market Square. In Pomona Park, I think it's the community center. And then in Barden, it's going to be at Bud's Grocery, and also up on East Bannerville. Barden gets 2 pickup locations. I don't know how they got the special treatment. But if you want to give me a, yes, sir. If you want to give me a call at 386-325-9598 at the office, give me an email at keepputnambeautiful@gmail.com. We are on Instagram and Facebook, just pointing that out. It's Keep Putnam Beautiful, and actually after going on the radio and making a joke that, hey, you can get me at Publix or Walmart, I went to Walmart and Miss Peggy stopped me there. So she says, I heard you on the radio and you said I could get you here. So we're out there and available if anybody has any questions. Again, if they just
Nicole,
call
let me start by
Oh.
apologizing for calling you by the wrong name a minute ago. I can't read good, I guess.
No, my writing.
If you could get that information that you just gave us and get it to Laura Parsons, then we can get it on the Putnam County BOCC website, and maybe that, the Facebook page, and maybe that will help you also with that. So, as far as the countywide cleanup day, and Commissioner Pickens?
Yeah, Nicole, you did find somebody to chair it in South Putnam?
Yes, sir. Mayor Peterson.
Okay, good deal. Okay.
Commissioner Harvey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nicole, Interlochen, 8 o'clock, 3:15 and 20. Vulcan Materials is actually going to provide lunch that day, so I'll be picking up, we'll be doing hot dogs and chips and water and Gatorade for those people up by noon on that day. So,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for mentioning noon. Noon's when our cutoff is, so Waze Pro can get it. I guess I'm going out to Interlochen at noon so I can get food.
Have a hot dog there, come on.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we're
Mr.
gonna, that
Chairman,
was my,
Mr. Chairman, before we move on, could I, Mr. Nimitz, if you would work very closely with Ms. Nicole on this project, let's make sure that we don't go ahead of them and scatter litter everywhere with our mowing crew. Let's see if we can work with them in conjunction to make sure they're successful in their endeavors this week. Thank you, sir.
okay. Let's move into consent agenda. Please keep in mind that item H has already been pulled and dealt with under presentations. Also, excuse me? Well, I have one card. Do you see somebody else? Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. Commissioner Goddard so rightfully brought it to my attention. I didn't call the end of public comment because we were out of cards. So we're out of cards. Seeing no more public comment, we're going to call the end of public comment, move into consent agenda. Thank you for the supervision, Commissioner Goddard. Like I said earlier, the consent agenda, item H has already been pulled and dealt with. The chair needs to pull item E, and we're not going to discuss it today because additional work needs to be done on it before it's brought before the commission at a later date to be determined. Is that correct, Administrator Suggs?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, so, is there anybody that would like to pull anything off the consent agenda? Commissioner Pickens?
I have none.
Commissioner Harvey?
I have none, sir.
Commissioner Goddard?
I have none.
Commissioner Rawls?
I have none.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, I'd like to move the approval of consent agenda items A, B, C, D, F, G, I, J, K, L, and M.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, and motion carries. We've got well, it's after 9:30, good enough. Public hearing for Public Works, a request for continuance of public hearing. Okay, so what you're asking here, Mike, is just to have a continuance to a later date? Do you know what, can you come up just a second, please? Oh, it's gonna be short and sweet. I just need to know about what date do you think you want it continued till? Okay, sorry, I see it now on my agenda.
Yeah, it's on the agenda for the date. I didn't actually print that one.
Okay, give me your name and for the
Michael
record.
Rodriguez,
Okay,
Putnam County Public
thank you.
Works, Project
Yes,
Manager.
Sarah needs it. All right, the chair would entertain a motion for a continuance of the public hearing until March 24th at 9:30 time
So
certain.
moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you, Mike. The next will be clerk of court comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple items. One, I wanted to mention to you that we've had a request for some alterations of office uses in the courthouse, particularly where our jury room is located on the third floor of the courthouse, to assist with the use by the bailiffs. We've worked with the sheriff's office, Sheriff Deloach and Colonel Wells. We've come to an agreement on how to make that happen. We will be proceeding with moving personnel and some staff around and some equipment to facilitate that so that we have a better workflow and a better process as it relates to jury, their safety, moving them between multiple buildings. And so we're continuing to make that progress. Second, I wanted to ask, as you move further with your public information officer progress that you had with Mr. Leckey today, that if we could have some additional participation by the constitutional officers, because as a family member, we have those same needs to get information out periodically, and one that frequently needs to be shared is jury service. So sometimes those get postponed or resolved, and the more opportunities we have to notify the public of their service, the better it is for them. Most people don't want to come to jury service, and I found is the more you don't want to come, the more likely you are to be chosen. That's kind of how that works, you know. And so if you could also consider, you know, some of those conversations with us so that we can also benefit from the additional platforms for notification. And then lastly, I did want to mention that I participated with the Rotary Club of Palatka Sunrise with the pickleball tournament this past Saturday, and I had the pleasure of working the check-in desk for Saturday morning, and I was once again shocked at how many people came first to play pickleball, but how many came from out of town. And nothing but positive comments from folks that came from out of town about our county. And so I want to congratulate all of you that continue to promote and support those good efforts in our county. And as I've always said, I'm proud to live here, and I'm so excited about our future. And Mr. Chairman, those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. I'm going to request as chairman that we try to set up a meeting between our PIO team and the constitutional officers or their designees, whoever they'd like to come. I think that was my oversight as much as anyone's, Tim. My apologies. I was trying hard to get this program up and rolling as fast as we possibly could, so.
We have Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all that. Our problem is managing content. That's always the problem, because we're busy, you know, sometimes looking down at what we're doing, and we don't have, you know, a good flow to keep that content current. Well, and there's nothing worse than any one of those platforms than to have stale content.
The one thing we did do is we reached out across other departments and what have you. We've got the Public Works on board with us. We've got the Parks and Recreation, the Sheriff's Department, the different departments. Like I said, it just got by me, but we'll make sure that that happens, because it definitely needs to be included in amongst the big picture. So, thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Mr. Chairman, to piggyback on that for just a second, if we could, for the constitutionals, we're very fortunate here to have the relationship that we share with all our constitutionals. And just so, if there's any information that you would like for us to try to disseminate for you on your behalf, we've created an email address here at Putnam County. It's PIO@putnam-fl.com, just like everybody else's address. And we can get that, the team will get that, and if there's anything we can immediately put out, we'll certainly do that as fast as we can for you. And we'll also, we'll put a meeting together to get everybody in the same room to have a conversation.
Again, thank you for bringing that to our attention. It is a work in progress. On appointments, I'm going to ask, does any commissioner have appointments, starting with Commissioner Rawls,
No, I do not.
Commissioner Goddard,
I have none.
Commissioner Harvey,
I have none.
Commissioner Pickens?
I have none.
Okay, I don't have any today either, but I do have someone that is showing interest in the contractors board that is a state certified building contractor. At this point, they haven't went and filled out an application yet. They showed that they had interest and reached out to me, but they haven't filled out an application yet. So I guess we have to wait until that point under the rules.
Can I ask a
So-
question real quick?
Yes, sir.
I'm working on somebody for the affordable housing. Do they deal with SHIP, or is that? Okay, that's what I told them, okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. And with that, we'll go to the county administrator's comments.
Yes, sir, I don't have anything work-related. We've got a lot of things that are going on. You saw the progress or the project report last meeting, so we're working on those items. The only thing is I will say appreciation to all the commissioners that reached out and staff this past week when Julie had her issue with her partially detached retina. It meant a lot to my wife and myself that you guys was reaching out, so thank you again for that. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Administrator Suggs, and Colonel Commando is in Tallahassee today on other business. So under Commissioner comments and requests, we'll start with Commissioner Rawls.
What is our next nightly meeting for the next month?
It's the second Thursday in April.
Okay.
It was because we wanted to do it, from now on, it's going to be the Thursday before the board meeting of the first of each quarter. The Thursday before the board meeting of each quarter. Because what happened, we were gonna do it the first Thursday of every quarter, but then that gives you too much time between that night and the meeting, because there's, on several of the months, it falls that there's 2 Thursdays in between. So it's gonna, the Thursday before the board meeting on each quarter. So April 9th will be the next one.
Okay, and just want to give a shout out to had a lot of volunteers that showed up Saturday for the SMA. They're fixing to open their drop-in center, and they had a lot of volunteers that showed up to landscape their building. It's really looking good in my estimation. We had a really busy weekend in the county. Azalea Fest was in town. Mr. Smith alluded to the pickleball tournament and the number of folks that came in to participate in that. And our Rotary group raised money to redo the tennis courts and pickleball into tennis courts and pickleball courts at the high school. And there was, I guess, a lot of commentary on how nice the courts were. So hopefully this will be something we can continue to do, not just as a way to promote Putnam County, but bring people in and get them to see what we're about. That's it.
Commissioner Goddard.
Well, I want to commend our staff. Sometimes they get overlooked, but they have been phenomenal. Every time I've asked for anything, they go out of their way to get it, and I just really appreciate our staff. The other thing is our playground is moving along. We didn't get onto it, but if you go by there, you'd be surprised at what you're seeing go on. it's going to be phenomenal. I think we're really going to step up that corner once this thing is done. And as a side note, that was built 20 years ago, and all of my kids have enjoyed that playground. So now I'm ready for my grandkids to enjoy it. I did go to the festival. That was well attended for a cold, windy morning at least. The parade was not as active as usual, but it really was good. The parade was great, but the festival itself was fantastic. The amount of people that were down there was great. And while I'm looking here, I want to say thank you to our Sheriff's Department, who deals with some pretty tough decisions, and especially like the episode that happened at the bridge. That's tough. It's heartbreaking. But I wanted to commend you guys. You immediately took care of it. As sad as it is, you took care of it. You took and at least made closure for that family. I appreciate it. I appreciate what you do. Of course, the next thing is we've got the fair coming up. To me, that's always a big deal. We have a lot of out-of-town people that attend our fair. So that's a great thing, and I like them to see how people of Putnam County are. But we always have our arms open for them, and we put on a very good fair. But I recommend everybody to be there. It's a great thing. The kids are just, if you've never watched the kids show their animals, it's incredible. And then judging, I don't even know how in the heck they judge. How do you judge these children's animals? I don't even know. I definitely wouldn't want to have that job. But that's fantastic. And also, just as a side note, coming up will be the Catfish Festival, which is always a great thing, especially the swamp cabbage. Don't miss any of that. Anyway, thanks.
You gonna help him this year?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
what I heard, a volunteer going on?
I'll get down there and tote it just like I did before.
Okay, there's your first volunteer, Commissioner Pickett. Commissioner Pickett's comments?
Thank you, and thank you, Commissioner Goddard, for volunteering again. He was a great help. So it seems like the Catfish Festival comes around every 6 months now. So a couple things, I just want to commend Mayor Terrell Hill and the City Commission for the mayor's reception Friday night to kick off the Azalea Festival. It was absolutely fantastic. The food was great. Music was great. So I just want to commend him. And I hope the Azalea Festival was a success because the weather was a little chilly. So, and I'm sorry that I couldn't attend it. The second thing, I was able to meet with the River Park East Neighborhood Watch group last Thursday at 7 p.m. And they've been holding their meetings for 17 years and working with the Sheriff's Department. Officer Dennis Jones is designated to them to go to the meetings and to listen about their concerns about safety. And then the Codes Department is sending somebody down there to talk to them about codes issues and things like that. So they've really done a good job cleaning up that neighborhood. And so I was able to attend that meeting, and that's all I got.
Thank you, Commissioner Pickens. Commissioner Harvey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You notice that everybody starts stretching out as it moves down the line. We all have about the same comments, so, but there's a lot going on, and I appreciate it, and it's good. Do want to say to everybody that's watching, remember to get out and vote. Very important that you do get out and vote. I wore my stickers today. I didn't vote this morning. I voted yesterday afternoon. I was 550-something at our location that we voted at, my wife and I. But it's important to get out and vote. And, I know that and some people don't like the presidential preference election, but it's very important that it's important to candidates too. Let me just say that who knows who the super voters are and the people that are really out there to make a difference. And we encourage you to get out there. Had a great meeting yesterday, and I do want to, we all congratulate staff. But Mr. Suggs, let me just say that you put a great team together here. I've yet to find one staff member that wants to say no. They all want to try to work together and find, like you said earlier, they want to narrow down to the minute and find the right answer for the people. And it's so encouraging when you can bring people in, or you can sit in a meeting and just say, okay, why are you doing it like that? Not necessary. Let's do it like this. We can make the process simple. It's refreshing around here. And I just want to say, without your leadership, none of this would have happened. And I commend you and our staff. Our new attorney, I like the last one, but he liked to give us a lot of he'd like to give us a lot more information than I really care about. I just want to buy the tire. So Rich is very much into just selling the tire, if you will. So I do want to thank you. And it doesn't go unnoticed that the amount of work you did to make this staff available and presentable and knowledgeable. And thank you very much. And that's my comments, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Harvey. I'd like to start by discussing our Emergency Services Committee. I think that it's been a tremendous success to date. I'd like to commend the commission for allowing us to come up with that. I think that it's been a good process, that only positive things are going to come out of in the end. Where it goes, we should have, hopefully we'll have some kind of a report by the 24th, the meeting on the 24th. I asked for at least a progress report if they weren't ready to give us a full written report yet. And Mr. Jim Troiana, who is moderating that committee for us, has said that he will give us that report on the 24th. So I look forward to where we are, and they're still meeting during the week. So I think that's going to be very successful and long time in coming. Another thing I think I would be remiss without mentioning is the coronavirus. I think that the world is upset about it at this time. Citizens of Putnam County are upset about it at this time. And while I think it is very serious, and I don't want to diminish the seriousness of it, I think that we all need to remain calm, wash your hands, try to do your best to reduce the possible spreading to yourself. But other than that, remain calm. If it comes, and we've done everything we can do, believe me, Putnam County will be prepared. There's already some meetings going on, and believe me, Putnam County will be prepared. So enough said for that at this point. You know, I would like to piggyback a little bit on Commissioner Harvey's comments. I think that this commission a few months ago passed a new organizational structure for the administrator, and he's been working on it diligently. The reason it's taken as long as it is because we put the absolute handcuffs on him by telling him that he had to do it within the current budget dollar. And so it's taken a little time. As somebody leaves or he repositions somebody or whatever, he's got to do that over a period of time. So that's the reason why that it wasn't done within a period of a few months, because he has to proceed within the budget dollar. So I just wanted to give a quick update on that, and I believe that a year, 2, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, that what this commission just did is going to be a monumental thing for this county. I truly believe that.
We should erect a monument then.
I don't know about all that. Anyhow, that's all I have today. If there's no further business to come before the board, this meeting is adjourned.
Good job.